Hey everybody, it's me, Captain Zant again, and we have another interview here for you, and really cool. We have cast and crew of a sci-fi film, indie sci-fi film, coming out. You know, you're going to have to pay attention to find out where you can see this film. It's not yet released. I've seen it, it's really cool. We're going to talk about it right here, right now, tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and change my screen right here so I can introduce these nice people from Mining Moon. Okay, so hello everybody. To start
Hi
with,
there.
Thanks
Hello.
a lot for being on. It's really great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Okay, now I'm going to jump right in on this. Let's go with some introductions, and tell us your part in the film, please.
You want to start?
This way?
I'll start
Any way you want.
My name is Gord Bestwick. I played a character by the name of Ambassador Thood. You'd recognize me with a gigantic sideways mohawk.
Yes. Maybe.
Hi, I'm Brookelyn, and I played Stepi. She's one of the slaves, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm Julie, and I played Akowi. I guess there's two names. Song slash Akowi, or Akowi slash song.
The lead. It's all about her.
Ish. There's other leads.
It's all about
her.
her.
I can recognize you without the out of the makeup.
I know it. I'm less white.
No, she's
I'm
person.
Less white hair.
It's the bone structure.
Yeah.
And I'm Leon Potter, and I played Ick, who I'm hoping you can't recognize without the makeup.
No, I certainly
But
cannot.
It
No
was
way.
not.
Okay. Now let's tell everybody a bit about the film first to start with. What is Mining Moon about?
Mining Moon is a sci-fi film, kind of set on arbitrary different planets, and the plot basically revolves around Akowi, of whom is a secret agent infiltrating a weapons trader's bar.
And a slave trade.
And a slave trade. And he's a weapons and slave trader who played by Leon. That's Mr. Ick. And I don't want to give away too much. It basically follows the goings on of what's happening there, where
put out enough hooks to reel everyone in.
Yeah.
It's both sci-fi, but it also has quite a bit of social commentary in there, giving perspective on slavery that a lot of people may not have considered.
Yes.
Without wanting to give too much of this away here.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing I did want to hit on is what made you choose to want to do a sci-fi film that discussed or addressed slavery and human trafficking.
You guys want to take this one?
Okay. I'll talk about that. It's because it's a subject matter that is usually dealt with on a very serious level, and oftentimes the best way to get people to actually look at something is to get them to laugh about it.
Yeah.
We've been hit over the head with really serious films about this kind of topic over and over and over again, so often that perhaps if you take it and put it in a slightly different perspective, some people make it funny, some people do this, some people do that, but it's never really been, like, if you take it and put it into a science fiction type of genre, perhaps, people who are more apt to listen to the message that actually exists behind science fiction will be able to will actually take it on board.
Yeah, it's a great form for social commentary, and sometimes just bearing things in metaphor to discuss them.
I find that a lot of fiction in general can touch topics that most people wouldn't want to touch, and then be able to talk about it and stuff like that. And a lot of it that way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's authors that do it. I mean, if you look at some of the books of people like Terry Pratchett with the Discworld series and stuff like that. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but if you have a look at those, he's created this whole science fiction world, but in that he uses it as a commentary on basically the things that are going on in today's society and how he feels about it, and right, then making it ridiculous, which makes you laugh at it, but still listen to what's going on.
Yeah. So who wrote Mining Moon?
Brian Moreland wrote Mining Moon. So our director-producer, I guess, the director-producer, Brian, I would say that he did practically all the script, wouldn't you say? I think
I looked at it. I didn't do any.
Yeah.
Offered a few changes, but he did all the writing and all the changes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
I think it was just a few suggestions.
Suggestions. But it's his script, his baby, completely.
Okay. That'll work. It's a grim topic. Obviously, Mining Moon's subject matter, and so it lends itself that way to obviously how you reflect it in costuming and lighting as part of the storytelling. And one thing that struck me from pretty early on was seemed to be some elements and flavor of Lex and Farscape in there. Can you tell me, are any of you guys fans? Did any of that influence leak in there from some of the dialogue? Certainly was a little Lex-like, and the costuming certainly. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very good. I mean that as a compliment. I think Lex is one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah, I agree. It's got that total Farscape type.
I would say
feel to it.
To me, I don't know much about Lex, but I've seen Farscape, so to me, it totally leaned towards a Farscape.
Oh yeah.
Esque.
Yeah, and it's one of the beauties of doing sci-fi is things like makeup and whatnot. Like, Ick isn't just a bad guy. He's a giant slug.
Yeah, exactly. Which we want to hit on later. Talk about the makeup is what it really looks like. And
and official answer.
Yes.
My hair was inspired from the guy from Babylon 5.
Yeah, that was going to come up. I kept expecting him to say, Veer, where are you? No, I took it more of as a bow to B5 than anything else, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
The interesting part for me is I've never seen Babylon 5 ever. Like,
really?
So I had no influence on my performance whatsoever from any of Babylon 5, which, on hindsight, maybe I should have watched it and given everyone just like a tiny little, like a...
Yeah, it probably works better without, because none of it came through, and you could tell, the hair might have reminded you of Centauri, but the character didn't really, so it works quite well, I think. But you should check out Babylon 5 then. It's really, really well done, and if you like Straczynski's stuff, it's like 5 seasons of really well tied together writing.
Does it end all tied up in a nice neat bow? I need a good solid
denouement.
Yeah, it can't just trail off. It needs to finish. I need closure.
Well, yeah, there's some closure to it, but they also leave it open because they went ahead and did a series called Crusade, which only lasted for like half a season, and it was wonderful. And they tried a few B5 movie spin-offs to see if they could get the series going from those. But he never hit gold again with the Babylon franchise as he did with B5.
It's okay.
I just wanted Firefly to keep going.
I know. That's one of the biggest crimes ever. Oh my God. We won't even...
We got Castle instead, right? So that's...
that's just not even a trade-off. That just sucks. My God. So let's talk about the makeup a bit, though. Let's talk about the makeup, though, because the makeup was a very important part of the film. And let's hit the big, you could call him the elephant in the room almost to start with, which would be Mr. Ick.
Yeah.
Tell us about not only the character Mr. Ick, but about your costume, prosthetics, and kind of what how it influences your character and the whole 9 yards. Tell us about and what it's like to get in that costume.
The beauty of a character like Mr. Ick and a costume like that is right from the get-go. I mean, you read the script and you think, oh, wow, this is actually kind of cool. And then Max Dowie, who is basically the makeup designer was the makeup designer for Mr. Ick, as well as a lot of the other parts of the movie as well. He came over to my house. We sat down. We had a long chat. I had a look at it. He took basically a cast of my entire torso when I was sitting on my knees. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Like, strap my arms up to my sides and the whole bit. And I was like, okay. And then he showed me pictures of where he was going with it. Look, I was like, wow, this is gross. He went, yeah, that's kind of the point. I was like, so basically I'm like a giant slug octopus thing. With tentacles, flippery hands and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, that's basically what I'm going for. I'm like, excellent, that's super, love it. So we got there, and on the day of, Max and I were literally the first people in the costume room, in the makeup room, and it was about 4.5 hours of just working on and getting that entire thing done. He had done a cast of the entire body, and it was enormous and absolutely grotesque. And I could get out of it, but when you're actually on set and shooting, you have to sort of sit in this, you have to sit on this wheelchair and pull the things over your knees and get all that stuff going.
Jeez.
And it was crazy, and I couldn't move. Literally, like, my arms are strapped up to here, my knees are strapped up into here. So really, that kind of does everything for the character right there. Right? So all of a sudden, when you're yelling at somebody, you're like, ah! The beauty of a costume like that, and the beauty of that much makeup, and doing that kind of thing, is it really helps you to define the character very easily, which is great. Because you just look in the mirror and go, oh my god, and you just play with it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It also looks like it's probably extremely hot in that thing.
Yes, it was. I died a little. But that's okay. They were all, actually everybody was really cool. And oftentimes, the problem was I couldn't move. Like, once I was in it, that was it. Like, I was literally stuck in this wheelchair, my knees tucked under me and my arms flapping around. I had no hands, no thumbs, no anything. I was just like, move me over here! They're like, places. I'm like, that'd be great! Places would be good!
Puree me some lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
So how about, let's move on and keep asking everyone else, how's the makeup experience for you?
For me, it didn't seem to take too long. I think it was just basically powdering my face and about here with white, and then my hands, where she would have had like all of her legs on.
Yeah, you got easy on that. Yeah.
I did. I only had like just to here, and then hands, and then like contacts and wig.
Yeah. How do you feel it affected the character? Did it lend something that made it easier for you to, or give a quality to the character you weren't expecting?
I suppose that whenever I put makeup on and a wig on or whatever in a costume, it lends a little bit. But I'm also a cosplayer, so I do it all the time. So it's nothing new to me. I've done it many times. So it's kind of like a ritual thing, in a matter of speaking.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's true. Absolutely. I get it. I totally get it.
So what are some of your favorite cosplays?
My favorite cosplay? It's like asking who is
ask that question.
I don't ask.
favorite show.
So I said favorites. I said plural.
Oh,
gone. Okay, moving on.
Well, mine was, it took a long time, but yet a short time, because in the summer I get really, really dark, and to be an albino, it took so much powder and makeup and...
Yeah, and it take forever to clean off, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
And what about the ambassador? How was the ambassador's costume?
Well, it was all about the hair mostly. That was actually my hair. That was not a wig.
Really?
And, I had grown my hair out for some other projects, and when we started filming, what we actually did was I laid like on the ground. We brushed my hair up. They kind of put this hair goo in there, like flat ironed it, raked it out, then kind of took my crispy hair, flopped it up, and added more goo. I think I was more like hair gel and flat iron work than I was person by the end of that.
Oh my god.
And then the makeup artist did something like absolutely like personally amazing to me. Was they aged me, significantly aged me, and I'd put up put up the picture on Facebook.
They weathered you and
Yeah.
you in tea.
And, people that have known me for, 20 years actually thought that wasn't me.
Wow.
Because, well, I mean...
That's good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Now, it should be noted, since the shooting, I've lost a significant amount of weight since the shooting, so I don't have nearly as many chins, and my cheeks aren't as puffy as they are. But, yeah. So, yeah, it was quite the experience. And
I thought maybe there was a piece that had been made and put on the back.
Looks like it would have been, but no.
Now, for those that will end up watching the movie after this, a little gem to look at. As you can tell, I'm very much a ginger, and one of the things that we didn't expect initially, we didn't really plan to kind of shoot from behind, or get like a profile or anything. So they never painted the back of my hair when they did it. So when you see me in the interview in the sun, as I turn my head, you can actually see. I don't think Brian got I think he had to go in post and actually blacken out the back of my hair. But for them, I think there's actually some of my ginger sneaking through on the backside of my head.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is. I didn't notice that. It was funny. So, moving on to similar topic there about the special effects. I noticed some pretty good special effects in there. Who did that work?
Are you talking about the post special effects or the in
Post.
Post special effects? That would have been.
That's all Brian.
That's all Brian.
Brian did the majority of the special effects. The 3D, there was some 3D work done by this really nice fellow that I've talked to a whole bunch of times, and I've suddenly completely gone blank on his name. I'm a bad person. Oh.
I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm a bad person.
Well done.
If you remember it, you can jump in with it.
But
Does
no.
his name appear here?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
His name right here.
We're gonna look it up.
Brian does most of the special effects, though. That's actually how I was talking to him before, and on another project, and that's how he got started. Is he really enjoyed sitting down and tinkering and doing all this cool stuff in post and having a blast with it, and then he started doing more, getting bigger and bigger and enjoying that. So yeah, he does all of that kind of stuff. So it's
wow,
pretty cool.
How about sets? There's some good locations. It looked like in the film that you had. Mm-hmm. Where are all your sets, or how'd you scout them out? Your locations.
Yeah, a lot of it's at the university.
Yeah.
A lot of it's at the local university. Where was the spaceship?
Oh, the spaceship was filmed at the Coast Guard That was actually,
Coast Guard ship.
it was one of their rough weather rescue boats. And so a little explanation on why the ship looked like a yellow bumblebee flying through space was the outside of the ship is actually yellow. Like that is, when we use the word ship in sci-fi, we think of something flying through space. In fact, that was an actual ship. Right, yeah.
On
So,
the water ship.
Yeah, it was, the interior of that was filmed in this boat that's meant to go out in the vomit-inducing seas of bad weather. And, I don't like boats, okay?
Other than that, you live on an island, dude. Sorry.
There's an island.
All right.
Yeah, and that so the model of the ship flying through space was done up by this really nice fellow that I'm so horribly embarrassed. I am so sorry.
Well, we can also put it in the details.
Oh, I'm such a bad person.
The sound was really clean and well done too. Is that Brian also on sound?
The sound? That
No,
was
that's
me.
you. Sound was really good and clean. Something that's so hard to find in a lot of smaller indie films. It's really.
Yeah, there was actually quite a bit of challenge with the sound, and one of the greatest challenges on it, a lot of the bar scene was actually shot in a real honest-to-God bar. And what a lot of people don't know is when you're shooting these things, your microphones pick up everything. There's an ice machine going. There's overhead lights going the whole time. I probably have about 40 to 50 hours in just getting all of the sound cleaned before even the levels were set and music was added. It was unfortunately. There's when you're trying to add the sound back to a film or work with it, you always think, boy, I sure wish I had when you're sitting there staring at the footage, and we didn't actually have a significant amount of audio, different locations to work with, so it was actually quite the challenge to manipulate the sound into being quite reasonable. It's not perfect, of course. I hear every imperfection when I listen through it there. And we actually went through and redid a few of the locations in ADR, so after the fact. And I have to say, Julie did an amazing job in syncing up. There's a few scenes where we were recording in a narrow hallway, and there was just this horrible sound coming through. And had we gone with the original sound, I probably would have, switched the movie off at that point.
There's some sets and locations I could tell you had to have done that, because otherwise there's no way the sound was going to work out. I could tell you put a lot of effort into your sound.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one that being the critic of my own work here, the one scene that I wish I had a time machine and could have gone back was Akowi was talking to Hannah's character, the authoritative ministry leader lady.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call her the hologram lady. Hannah's character. Walking right at the end of the film, they're walking down this hallway. It had every hallmark of sound that makes the sound guy want to cry and just give up, live on feet. They're walking down this like hard floor hallway with glass at either end and shoes that goes clomp 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 clomp. I saw that footage. I'm like, and unfortunately, there were some just timing issues in being able to get Hannah in to do the voiceover, like to re-record it. So it also gets really challenging to make it not sound weird when you're ADRing, because you could have something that sounds like somebody is talking in a cavern, and then suddenly you get this super clean close-up shot, so where their voice is not matching what you're seeing. So it was, quite the challenge on a few of these things. Yeah. And speaking about sound, now that I've completely peaked your microphone a few seconds.
Yeah. And I'm not as elegant with sound editing as you, so. Now, from the start of writing the script to being at the point now where you guys are ready to release, how long is that process? Ignoring if you ignore the writing phase of that, from the time when you basically have script in hand, it's about 4 months, 3-4 months from the time that you've got a script to when you can shoot, and then 4 to 6 months or so like that. It's
probably afterwards.
Yeah,
it's about an 8 month. It's about an 8 month turnover.
Yeah,
I think
that's awfully good.
Like we got the scripts, or I started looking at it, sort of January-ish.
I remember it was winter.
Yeah,
I remember winter.
Yeah, it was winter, and then Brian and I started talking back and forth. Then I don't know about you guys. It's about changes and whatnot, and then he went into pre-production, started everything like that, and then from there. It was 2 days of shooting? 3 days?
3 days of shooting.
3 days of shooting.
There was 1 day that was the spaceship scene.
Yeah.
And then basically 2 days in the bar separated by
our office. Yeah.
Because we had some logistic issues in getting the bar for long enough, and there are some renovations going on, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So 3 days of shooting, basically.
Basically 3 days of shooting, and so a lot of pre-production into that. 3 days of shooting, which were like massively intense, really long
12-hour days.
Wow.
12-hour days.
Yeah.
Long days of shooting.
Long days. And after that, everybody kind of goes home, we wrap, and then it turns into Brian and these guys sitting on a computer and editing and fine-tuning it, putting it all together. So our part's actually quite small.
Easy.
Yeah, our part's not hard. I mean, we got together a day before this shot just to go over some of the fight choreography, because I do the fight choreography for that as well. And aside from that, that's basically it.
Yeah, but it takes many parts to make a production.
Yeah, the crew is quite wild. You get on set and you realize just how many people are actually involved in these projects.
And but people behind the scenes, our Barry. Sorry, Barry.
Barry. Okay. Now, this is for everybody in no particular order. What's your, and without spoilers, of course, but what's your favorite part of the film?
Can you say me? I thought I was brilliant.
No particular scenes or moments that stand out as a favorite to you. That's what I mean.
There's a few. He captured a few really nice moments. There's a couple near the end that I really like. Yeah. Especially like when there's sort of the realization that.
Oh wait a minute.
The Daniel will be revealed after.
Good dodge.
Yeah, there's some really nice moments captured at the end as well.
Oh, there's one that you're not bringing up, and it's right near the beginning, and I think this is, bar none, it has nothing to do with pretty much the rest of the film.
Oh, if you're talking about the scene that I'm thinking you're talking about, it's great.
There's this one little bit, we can give this one away. It shows up on a TV. We stuck in we basically made our own little mini soap opera to show up.
That part was great. I
soap opera.
Cheesy, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it was great.
That makes it awesome.
It was. I can't. I hate to be that guy, so I'm going to be that guy. You guys can pretend. My favorite part of the whole film because it's so bad.
I have it down as a question itself because I was like the soap opera stands out so much. I like totally got a good laugh out of it. I really liked it.
Good job making it all hammed up and so
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good slam on soap operas.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was inspired from, I think it's Telemundo or the Spanish soap operas where it's ridiculous, Brookelyn, you are actually my daughter's sister's cousin's uncle's third nephew's fourth time removed baby. You've grown.
Totally over.
How is that even possible?
I'm wondering about this film we're talking about, Mining Moon, and they're going to say, well, where is it? But it's more a question of when is it? You're going to be going out on the circuit and showing your film. Why don't you tell people about that? Where it can be seen, what your plans are for the future.
I think I can field this one here.
Yeah, it's yours.
The answer to that question is go to miningmoon.com, and of course, what we'll do is after the interview here, we're going to give you a couple links of places that are going up. As you get accepted into festivals, it isn't something where suddenly you have 60, 70 festivals. It kind of snowballs as the year is going along, and as a good example, the previous film that we were in, Game Companion, which, aside from Brookelyn, all three of us were, we'll say, fairly principal characters in Game Companion. Yeah, that managed to see be seen in 116 festivals, and now just because of the darker nature of Mining Moon, we're not expecting nearly as many as Game Companion. But it's one of these things that we'll, of course, try and keep you as best we can on when and where we're going to be shown. We also have a Facebook group. The film. Let me actually say this correctly. Look for Mining Moon the film on Facebook. Come and join our group. Everybody's welcome. It is set to be an invite, you have to actually join the group, but feel free to come and join in and ask us questions. We're more than happy to, if you see something on there you want to ask us or talk to us.
And also any festivals that we get into are usually posted on that Facebook group.
Yeah.
So you can find out if there's a festival or a comic convention or something along those lines that is close to you. You can check it out.
Yeah, it's a surprise stuff.
Like as Gord was saying, the invites keep coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's you can't just sort of sit down and say, "Here's a list," right?
Right.
So because you don't you're in them, you don't know if you're not, whichever.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we've got a Laurel or something. I'm probably going to say this. I think it was the Head Sahib Festival or something. Well, we've already. Let's see, I think we've already hit South America. I'm pretty sure we're in Asia. We're all over the world with our festivals. So.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yep.
Wow. Now it brings me to another kind of technical. Brian question. Was there any fundraising done? Did you do any crowdfunding? Do you know?
I'm not sure. No.
Well, the overwhelming majority of people were
Volunteers.
Yeah, we're volunteers on this. I think in terms of what you'd consider to be the economic driver of these things, it's not the money, and I don't think anyone involved in the projects really do it for the money. It has more to do with in terms of film, we're all learning. And
the truth is that honestly, it's a really good group of people.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy these little projects because it's like we all get together, we have a really good time.
Everyone's joking
There's
around.
a lot of joking around. More and more comfortable with each other. We're helping each other out a lot. And honestly, it's a blast. It really is. The fact that they're actually getting out there, great, no problem.
Yeah. I bet it's, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but it's a good crew. It's a great crew, right? You show up on set and
so
it's
different.
professional. It's very well done and it's good.
Yeah, it comes out in the film. So, for everyone then, how much previous sci-fi work have you done?
I don't know.
Let's address let's address the bear in the room here, or the elephant in the room. We were Julie and Leon. We were in another film called Game Companion. You could technically call it sci-fi.
That's sci-fi.
It's totally sci-fi.
Would that be slash fantasy? Like,
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's semantics.
Yeah.
Semantics.
And also too, there's another film which happened after Mining Moon, has been filmed, is in the can, as they put it, but is not being.
It's in post.
It's in post right now. Which has gone through a few name changes. But
the original title is Gamer's Wife. That's the working title.
We like that.
Which we really like.
I like it.
Yeah.
Working
I
title.
like it.
I wrote that one and I pitched it. And we shot it at exactly and the family. To Brian a little while ago, it fit the exact genre that we've been working with, and it would work really well for the same kind of festivals that Game Companion worked with. So he was just a little worried that, or there was some talk that the two titles might be a little bit too close, Gamer's Wife, Game Companion. So rather than risk that, we've been bouncing around different ideas.
Okay, so sorry.
Love Life and comic books or something.
Gamer's Wife is better.
I think so too.
It's catchy. Yeah.
There's different
more
words in
about
there.
you.
Our audience is able to distinguish between two different films.
I think
We have a smart audience, so
Sci-fi audience usually is.
We're sure.
that is what we tell them.
So now, open-ended for everyone again. Since this is, a science fiction film, and we're a sci-fi website and all that, let's ask who are your favorite sci-fi? It could be authors, filmmakers, shows. I know Firefly is coming up. Any genre, audio, whatever. Who's your favorite sci-fi?
Do you hope to ask me?
Well, Fireflies. I think that's an awesome choice. I mean,
It probably would. Be there,
How about you, Brooklyn? What's your favorite?
I can't really choose. I don't
maybe
know.
maybe not a favorite, but one of your favorites.
Okay. If we were to invade your bedroom, and let's not do that. Suppose we were to instruct you to go to your bedroom and go and pick up and pick out something that you might have some
Muppets from Space.
watching, some
Muppets in
books.
Space is good.
What would be
Yeah.
fine in the bedroom?
Well, just need to start learning more sci-fi, it sounds like.
Probably.
I'm old school. I'm like the Star Wars generation. Right?
Excited
So,
for the new stuff. Sorry.
There's new stuff coming out, and
Yeah.
the fact that I look outside and I see 10-year-olds playing with lightsabers. I'm like,
Wow.
this is,
Wow.
4, 5, and 6. There is no 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. Good on you. Good on you, George.
4, 5, and 6. Agreed.
Generation.
4, 5, and 6. They had real Muppets.
Yes, they did. I like the original one.
Me too.
Yeah.
3, well, 3's not bad, actually.
It's a bloody shame they never made any prequels to Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
You're
You saw
right.
what happened.
It's awful. They should do something about that.
Yeah. Gee, isn't it so good that Jake...
Yeah. Anyway, those are always my favorites. Like the Yeah. Right. I love that Star Trek never dies, ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Okay,
Yeah,
making
Star
sure.
Trek, like the fact that they've actually redone it with a whole new cast and like thrown in a nice little time warp and gone, oh look, we've just opened the doors to an entirely new series.
Yeah. Now, when the first one came out, I really had to give some credit to how they opened that up for what they could do in the future.
Yeah.
Where they took it from there, I kind of question. It's like, why did you do a Khan movie after that? There's already been a Wrath of Khan movie. Why redo a Wrath of Khan movie? So I'd like to see that franchise kind of,
Look it up.
on. Anyway, but I'm a diehard Trekkie myself, so I'm agreed on it, and it's one of my all-time favorites.
Cool. What about you?
Well, I gotta say, I love Star Wars. I'm absolutely there, but I'm not as passionate about Star Wars. Like, it's one of these things that I really do love Star Wars. But I have to say the Star Trek universe is so much richer to me. I really enjoyed, and I know this will get me beat up in certain circles. But I actually really enjoyed Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We have to censor. We stand by.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't hurt! No, actually, the reason why was the serialized nature of Deep Space Nine and Voyager. It was the fact that you didn't just tune in and have everything wrapped up in a nice, tidy bow. The universe got ugly for a while there, and that was both the absolute beauty and one of the things about the Next Generation that it was both elegant and irritating. Was everything got so nice, tidy little bows at the end of the episodes for the most part. I mean, yeah, there was.
You like nice, tidy little bows.
Yeah, I like long serialized things.
Yeah,
I like
episodic.
Yeah.
You're very
You're confusing.
I am. No.
So
A
confusing.
series needs to tie itself up, but an episode doesn't.
One thing and
Right?
another.
You have, you can have your cake and eat it too.
No, you're right though, because and fill anyone in watching that doesn't know why that stands out so much is Gene Roddenberry passed away late into Next Generation, but his control was right on there, and he still wanted to do Stephen Bear. It went down that gray path so well, and the story with the Dominion, and it's such a long, overarching, epic tale, done very well, and explored, some of the darker issues that we deal with ourselves that you wouldn't have gotten when Gene was still alive and controlling Star Trek.
No, and that was I'd actually say that was the part that turned a lot of people off of DS9 was the fact that it was so dark and gritty. Like, my favorite character on that was Garrick, the Cardassian that had.
Love Garrick, yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was the fact that you knew that there was something that, right, and nobody had. Yeah. His character and the way that he presented his dialogue forcefully made you ask the question of, is the perspective that we have the only correct perspective? And that was brought up a lot of times. Yeah, and there was this one episode, and it's absolutely my favorite, the favorite bit of dialogue in the entire Star Trek series. It was a conversation between Garrick and Dr. Bashir, and Bashir was lecturing him about how the fact that he lies all the time. And so he told him the story of the big bad wolf. And, the wolf went out and so on and so forth, they ate and they did that. And if you lie all Garrick the time, said, what a wonderful story. Why are you telling me? Nobody's going to believe you. And then Garrick said, are you sure, Doctor? Is that what it is? But of course. Well, what else could it be? Never tell the same lie twice.
Yeah, Garrick's perspective. Very, very good.
Cool.
So that kind of brings another general sci-fi question up. Now, if you could choose to be any character from science fiction, who would you want to be?
Brookelyn, do you want to?
I need a minute.
You need a minute?
Deep thought.
How about you, Julie? Perhaps somebody from Firefly?
Common, it wouldn't
That's
be...
hard. They're all my favorite. They're all my favorite for different reasons.
It's not one of the more common ones, but in Terry Pratchett's books and in his Discworld series, there's a wizard named Rincewind who's brilliant because he's useless. Wizard ever. Has almost no magical abilities, and yet weird things happen around him accidentally, and everybody goes, "Ooh, look how powerful you are!" And he's kind of like, "Yeah,
yeah, I meant to do that.
I did that." And he's brilliantly written. I love him. So yeah, Terry Pratchett's Rincewind from that world,
that series,
this world series would be awesome. Just in case there's any casting directors looking.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Put that in slow-mo.
No, but I'm an
Insert headshot here.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be somebody from like Gallivant,
Yeah,
or somebody from Gallivant, or
But that's fantasy.
oh, that's fantasy. That's not sci-fi.
That's not sci-fi.
That's cool.
I pretty much know which not the character, but a member of this character's race.
Okay.
I would love to be a Q.
Ah, no, that's a good one. Q would be hard to turn down.
I think you would.
Yeah, I could be, just a little bit sociopathic,
Good.
And this, I say, oh, that works way better. I'll go with the Q continuum too, because then you can always choose to be Vulcan for a while if you wanted to.
So somebody's going to come and try and put a big drilling machine and collapse my planet? No problem.
Yeah, ding. Problem done.
See, now, if any Star Trek people are watching right now, we better see John Delancey in the next Star Trek movie. The severity of this finger wagging right here.
Take it seriously. It'd be so good to see him come back. And I sure wish they had actually addressed the Cisco character too. They left that dangling.
Well, they didn't entirely leave it.
He ever came back from the Celestial Temple, if he's with the Prophets. He just was there for that's the last he's with the Prophets now for a while.
But it's timeless. And did you ever watch Deep Space Nine, you guys? You're looking at...
Their eyes are glazing over.
That's right.
Here's a spoiler. For those of you that didn't watch through the entirety of Deep Space Nine, Ben Sisko turns out to be set up through a complex series of events. One of the special prophet people, and then dies and gets sucked into the Celestial Temple and lives forever.
Yeah. Yeah, his whole birth was actually engineered by a race known as the Prophet.
I figure if you haven't got it, if you haven't seen the end of it by now...
We're very close to it.
Luke's father?
Yeah, really. Exactly.
Darth Vader was Luke's father, just in case you didn't know.
No matter what J.J. Abrams tells you.
Look at that.
Oh, man. Well, great, man. Now, is there anything else you'd like to cover before we head off?
Keep an eye out for
Plug chance to your...
That's right. Gamer's wife.
Gamer's wife.
There's something else.
Yes.
Or if it might
Whatever it turns out to be.
And of course, check the description below for all the links we'll be adding in. I'm going to hold you guys on the line for... Yep, there you go.
over this.
I'm not really following
okay. I'm going to keep you guys on for a while, and then we'll just sign off for everybody else. So I'm just going to say thanks a lot, live long and prosper. Everybody keep your eye out for Mining Moon. It was a really good film. It was a real treat to get a heads up and see it before anyone else. And I try and be a little quiet and let you talk about your work through there, but before we go, I'm going to say it was impressive. The quality of work was good. The story was good and solid, and as we said, it's heady material, and it's current, as much of the best sci-fi is. And being on you guys, it was really super fantastic to have you.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks very much.
Take care, guys.
We have to go off-world. Take 4 slaves. Leave the rest here.
Why not just take Kyle and Ratha? You really don't need any more slaves. And aren't they needed to keep this place running?
When I come into a room, I want my slaves! They are shiny, precious stones that say an important being has arrived. They're not people. They're possessions. They're my possession.
I understand, sir.
You haven't even touched your slimy grubworm pie. What's wrong?
I hardly think a pregnant woman should be eating grubworms.
That's wonderful news. My brother Castor is going to be a father.
Castor's a fool. Sure, he has a good job and will provide us a fabulous life. But this baby belongs to my lover, Keel. But Castor must never find out. Not as long as I know your secret, Sumia.